drink out of the lens there, Sam. Good evening, Melrosians the world over. I'm Tom Catalini.
I'm Sam Hammer.
I'm Tom Shampoo.
And I'm Jen LeClaire.
And this is Let's Talk Melrose. Melrose, a show where Melrosians talk to Melrosians about Melrose. And boy, it was a flashback last week. You guys abandoned us, left Jen and I on our own. It was like the old days because we used to do that from time to time. But you both were missed terribly last week for a variety of reasons, technical, content, all kinds of reasons.
How did it go? I didn't even watch. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I didn't.
We were saved by the amazing guests that we had.
Yes.
So we had,
That's usually the case, isn't it? Isn't that usually the case?
all the week.
Probably the same tonight, too.
And Linda and Doug DeBrielle from the Human Rights Commission that talked all about all the great
My wife-
happening around Melrose.
My wife was on the show, and I couldn't even watch last week.
I know.
I had a historical commission emergency.
Oh gosh.
Something happened 200 years ago that we need to fix right now.
I was track it down. Anyway.
Oh my gosh. Well,
I'd like to be on. Could I just? Would it be probably not appropriate? But could I be on the text thread? Is it like, "Good day, sir. Might I trouble you for a moment to talk about the?"
Here too.
Is that how you guys talk in a historical voice?
Good day, fine sir.
Yes.
If it pleases you, might I inquire about? Anyway, how's the weekend? How's everybody's weekend? Weekend was good for people. Everybody had a good time.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good. So we were talking about things in Melrose, and I have to say, I went to an awesome music venue, this jazz club up in Portsmouth, New Hampshire,
Nice.
Johnny's Jazz and Blues Club. Kind of state of the art. They refurbed an old YMCA and then added like a 2-story steel and glass structure to it, and it's totally like a little bit fancy. So it was very nice. You get dinner, drinks there, whatever, and the sound was engineered like super well. And it was also kind of high tech. So not from all the seats did you have a clear, unobstructed line of sight to the stage. So they would sort of pump the sound in to these different rooms, and you could watch on screens. And it wasn't like just a static image of the band. It was like multiple camera angles and stuff. It was really cool. So my first time there, Jimmy's Jazz and Blues up in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, I would recommend that. And then we buzzed down the Cape on Sunday. My niece graduated from
Busy. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I had a quick trip to Burlington, Vermont to move my son into his apartment. So he's up there now, settled into his summertime apartment. So out of the zip code.
Out of the zip code. Well, too bad for you guys because you didn't really need to leave to do anything. Sam and I stayed and did all the things.
Yeah, I know.
We did all the things. As you know, on Thursday, the farmers market opened and there was the Melrose Pride flag raising. You guys were there for that. But the big news, bravo to the class of 2023. Melrose High School graduated like in crazy inclement weather. It was one for the record books. They had lightning striking everywhere. They had to run inside and the power went out. Graduation by flashlight, phone candlelight. So kudos to everybody. And then of course, the amazing grad night party that Melrose throws. And we are going to later be talking to Grant and Amy Camosa, the new chairs of Melrose Grad Night. Sam and I volunteered. We'll talk about that a little bit later.
Oh, that's great.
And then also went to Polymnia, did Rocket Man, music of Elton John. And it was fantastic. Look at them. They were all dressed up. These guys.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
The assignment.
It's sort of a Heat Miser version of Elton John in the back there.
He's looking the part. So they did a great job. It was a lot of fun. And this lady, this is Rose. So on the far left is Murray Kidd. He's the artistic director. We had him on the show before. when they were doing Matthew Shepard. But the lady, they gave an award. They were recognizing chorus members for years of participation. That lady, her name is Rose Sina. She's been singing with Polymnia Choral Society in Melrose for 60 years. And the other guy, and Matt Dugan, top fan, is saying, and top fan of the show, Dave Richard, is also a member. But Rose Sina got a standing ovation in the middle of the show, singing for 60 years with Polymnia. So it was great. It was great. Yeah.
Good for them. Look at that. That's a great show.
It's amazing.
And so then the graduation sounds like the ultimate triumph over adversity story. So good for them for that.
Yes. And we'll save our grad night pictures for when Karen and Amy come on. But it was quite a full weekend. You were missed. But I feel like Sunday was mostly recovery from grad night.
I did hit the farmers market quickly on Thursday. I did go to the flag raising, the Pride flag raising on Friday evening. So.
Nice.
All right.
Let's get into it. We got a lot to cover and some awesome guests. Let's go.
Let's get to it. The news, correct? Yes?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
There we go.
Oh my gosh.
Fantastic.
Crazy weather we're having, Tom Shampoo.
Yeah, what about it? I was up doing an after work hike this evening, and the sun was crazy. If you had a chance to look at it tonight, all day really, it had this smoky haze. It turned the color really, really orange, and then at sunset it was red. It was really pretty, but I guess there's some wildfires up in the Quebec area, separate from the wildfires that are up in Nova Scotia. But the Quebec smoke apparently is lower to the ground, so it's a different color. But also the air quality gets a lot worse at that point too. So we do. There are suggestions for those with respiratory issues or ailments to be careful of the air quality this week.
The recess was canceled today. I don't know if it was a certain time at Lincoln, but because of the air quality. So be safe out there.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of safety,
so I packed away a few cans of air for just such an occasion. We're feeling pretty good.
I missed you all last week. I was at the second public safety building information listening session, which was fantastic. So was able to watch our own Eugenia Gibbons deliver and facilitate a conversation with our other members of our committee, including Mayor Broder, the police chief, fire chief, and the architect on the plan who did a lot of the design. And he talked about how certain amenities were solidified. They did an extensive survey with staff members that work in those buildings, the things that they need, the things that they'd like to see. It was fascinating and very interesting from top to bottom, soup to nuts. The thing that I love about this project is that it is an amazing, first of all, they've been working on it for almost 2 years, but it is an amazing cross-section of this community, comprised of folks who are trusted sources from all parts of this, from all parts of Melrose. So I cannot thank them enough for dedicating their time to putting a proposal together, which will be presented, I believe, towards the end of this month to our city council as a proposal for the project and how we're going to pay for it. They did go into the finances a lot more last week, which I said, I tried to send you some homework I sent you a slide shot of of how the finances will work that we can show next time. I'm still trying to locate and see where the slides can be found to get those on the internet somewhere. Also, these videos I hear maybe on YouTube, but we're going to try to locate them and put them out for folks. But in the meantime,
this isn't filmed by MMTV because is it a planning board thing or
different? It's MMTV was there and they broadcasted live, and I think there was also a Zoom component, so you could. Well, I don't know if it was broadcast on MMTV, but there was a Zoom component so folks could watch live from home. And comment and ask questions that they would answer live.
Oh, that's cool.
And yeah, it was pretty great. And it's great to have the ability to ask those questions in front of the experts that have been putting these materials together. So it's going to be, it's going to be a big ask, but I think we can handle it as a community. We do complex, hard things all the time. So for more information, I'll put the website. It's melrosepsb.org. Melrose stands for publicsafetybuilding.org. And yeah, hopefully we'll get those materials. I think the case is laid out very well. There were still some lingering questions around why do we need 3 fire stations? Why not just 2? And the fire chief was there to answer that, as well as the architect. Oh, somebody's just jumping out right now. So yeah, check it out. I hope there will be a lot more information coming out before a decision needs to be made. So regardless of where you land, you will be an informed decision maker. That's the goal.
Mm-hmm.
So
thank you for being there. I wasn't able to go. Thanks for being there and taking it all in and filling us all in.
Yeah.
We talked about this last week. So just cover it real quick. Just a quick reminder that the City of Melrose and the Melrose Energy Commission are hosting their electric vehicle pop-up event this Saturday, June 10th, from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the MHS parking lot, where you can check out all kinds of electric vehicles, scooters, bikes, yard equipment, all kinds of stuff will be there to, and we talked about it last week. So check that out if you're around.
Yeah, also quick reminder on Saturday from 12 to 4 p.m., the Melrose Knights of Columbus Hometown Heroes event is coming. So to celebrate our first responders and, police, fire, and others who serve the community. And you go down, certainly if you're a member of that group, or just to go down and thank them and hang out at the Knights of Columbus Saturday afternoon.
Great.
And there'll be raffles and prizes, and they're raising some funds, and yeah, it'd be great.
All right, I'm going. You going?
Yeah, there's a lot going on Saturday.
Yeah.
It's a busy day on Saturday.
Yeah, the whole weekend. Yeah. Also, this just got thrown in. I don't know a lot about this. I'm familiar with the organization. Melrose High School Family Reach on June 11th from 1 to 4 at the Knoll across from the high school. There's a music rock and roll benefit concert for Camille Wall, one of their peers students from Melrose High School class of 21. This is a benefit for Camille Wall. She founded the Melrose High School branch of Family Reach during her freshman year. And she's battling an illness. Is battling an illness that she's had since she was 10 years old, an illness that I cannot pronounce. If someone wants to help me.
Osteosarcoma.
I don't know what
it is.
That
a cancer. It's a type of
is
cancer.
I apologize. I've not heard of that. She's currently undergoing radiation at Dana-Farber Cancer Institute. She attends BU and is studying psychology and brain sciences. Sorry. It's $5. All donations are welcome. The Paul Rutley Experiment will be playing. They're a high school band, and they are the ones that won. They were fantastic. They're so fun to listen to and fun to watch. They won the Battle of the Bands a few weeks ago at the Knights of Columbus. So you can follow MHS Reach Leadership on Instagram and Facebook at MHS Reach Leadership.
Yeah.
I'm done.
I can add.
Good job.
I can add quickly the vote over there in Stoneham at the Wakefield at the Volk High School. There's been a vote last week from the Wakefield Conservation Commission. They voted 5-0 to deny a notice of intent to build a new school over there by Breakheart. So if you know that area, it's like sort of the northwest end, I guess, of the Breakheart Reservation. But the school sits there now. They're going to rebuild the entire high school. But this is now on hold because they voted 5-0 to deny that notice of intent. So this is Volk School that services 12 communities, including Melrose. We have students over there. So We'll see what happens next. There's likely going to be an appeal, but that's, I think, a surprise for some people who are expecting this to go through.
Wasn't there some debate about where it's going to be located? That's what I remember.
Yeah, it's environmental issues. There's also issues around the land itself and any connections to native history, early history of Massachusetts and the tribes that lived in the area. So there's sort of a desire to look at the archaeology of the land, also the environmental impacts of the land. And people were trying to put a pause on the renovation anyway, but now it's been voted to be on hold. So anyway, that's an interesting turn, but there it is.
Yeah.
I was just going to talk about the newspaper and all the exciting things in here.
Please do.
Oh, yeah.
So an article, if you get the paper, 8,000 Melrosians do. Downtown art installation celebrates Melrose Asian community.
Yay.
So the art project.
Yay. That's a Melrose Together project with local artist Bo Sang Di Matteo. And that's just the beginning of that project. Ultimately, we found partners with Beacon Hill Wine and Russo's Cleaners to get that project temporarily installed in their windows while we are waiting for that project to begin development, at which time those panels will come out and onto the scaffolding of the construction project when that happens. So I want to thank the Melrose Cultural Council and the Melrose Messina Fund for the Arts for funding and supporting the project and being very patient as we waited and pivoted, and they continue to work with us and really believe in this project. So yeah. And also the mayor's office and Lauren Remick, lots of supporters.
Nice. We have a lot to get through still.
I know.
Yeah. Sorry. We'll hustle.
Hustle is right.
Where
did we?
School's out. Which Tom is this?
I don't know. It says Tom. I don't know if we're supposed to do that.
Okay, Tom C.
Pick a Tom.
All right. School's out. Sorry, kids. You still have summer reading. Who wrote this copy? It's School's out. But kids, guess what? You still get to read all summer. It's going to be an awesome summer of reading. You can sit under a shady tree. You can tuck your feet in the pool, read some awesome books. And guess what? You can get them at Molly's bookstore.
Amazing.
And 20% of the proceeds will go back to the PTO.
Nice.
So
Fantastic.
so let's look forward
But you have to go on June 14th. That's when the proceeds go back to PTO.
Yeah.
There's always a catch.
There's always a catch. So get those books early.
June 14th between midnight and 12:20 a.m.
Get your books early so that you can get your summer reading done early.
Yes, that's the way to do it.
Yep.
All right.
Yep. All right, real quick. We always like to tell you kind of some of the arts and cultural events that are going on around town. When you drop by the farmers market this Thursday, look for Florence Lee. She is doing her live storytelling of Melrose hero Mary Livermore. She does a great presentation.
Nice.
Birch Tree Knits still has Pride knit wraps for the rest of the month, with 50% of those proceeds going to the Trevor Project. Melrose continues our Pride celebrations on Friday at 5 p.m. at the Beebe Estate. The Melrose Public Library, they are trying one more time to do their book sale. They've been rained out twice already, I think. Also Saturday, Taking Up Space storytelling event at Follow Your Art with their partners, the commission featuring the Commission on Disability. Sunday, if the weather's good and you want to, or even if it's not good, they say there's no such thing as bad weather, only bad clothing. Get the right clothes on and go. There's a pride hike with Friends of the Fells that kicks off on Sunday near the Flynn rink. All kinds of things happening at the kitchen. Check them out. And then for everything else, you can check out the Creative Alliance website.
All right, let's get to the guest.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
We got walk-up music, Tom Kenley, or we don't, right?
Well, you have that.
Rock and roll stuff, right?
We have that, yes.
We need music. Hello, everybody. Hey.
We're going to work on that.
Hi.
We used to have good music, but
Hey,
Karen,
Karen,
hi.
project.
Hi.
Hi.
So welcome to this year's co-chairs of the Melrose Grad Night, Karen Blackburn Grant and Amy Camosa. Thank you so much for coming tonight and recovering with any sleep deprivation and for putting on an amazing party.
Mm-hmm.
So how did it go?
We survived.
It was a unique year. I know that. It was a unique year.
It was
more importantly, so did the kids.
Unique year. I think what's great, because I was there at the beginning. Amy had a senior this year, so she was in the midst of the mayhem, and then she closed out the event. But all in all, I mean, there was rain, there was power outages. We spent about 15 minutes trying to figure out if we were going to have to reconfigure the event, but at no point in time did we even consider not having it. Right. Wow. So it was a great event. So I'll let Amy
So
jump
can we
in.
just back up for a second? Because it's an awesome event, but the fundamentals are when the graduating class, when the kids at Melrose High graduate, usually in the late afternoon, Melrose Grad Night, they go home, they change clothes and maybe grab a sandwich or something, and they go back from X p.m. until 5 a.m. the next day, where they are thoroughly entertained in just an awesome environment that they all really seem to enjoy. So it's like a nice, safe place for the kids to celebrate, and they have to commit to mostly to staying there overnight or arrange, to get home. So it's all sort of make sure that safety first, right? But it's not. It's also like, I've heard live animals in the past when my kids have gone. There's usually some kind of awesome theme. There's tons of events and options to like choose your own adventure throughout the night. You can even just chill out and hang out. So it's just every year gets rave reviews. And this was, I think, an important year, right? Was this the first time Michelle Carson, as the founder, sort of passed the baton to you all and to the next generation? And that's really essential that you're keeping this going. It's so important and just a wonderful thing, and it's kind of become a rite of passage for the kids at Melrose High.
Yeah. I think it has. It's funny because when I was sitting in the stands for graduation before we had to evacuate, I overheard an older sibling behind me talking about how grad night was the best night of her life, and she hoped that her sibling that was gonna have just as much fun. And it was just like, I was like, oh, I hope so too, right? I hope, I was really fingers crossed it would live up to expectations. But yeah, I think it was Nancy Brinchero and Michelle Carson who started this about 10 years ago, and they honestly set the stage very well for us to take over. It's like a pretty well-oiled machine of volunteers that we just kind of were along for the ride for a lot of it. I was looking at our volunteer list earlier today to send out a couple of extra thank yous, and there's almost 80 people at throughout the night, from setup through to clean up the next morning, that help with this event. So it's really a huge community effort, and it's kind of amazing.
And two of those volunteers are here tonight, neither of which is named Tom.
We slayed at giving away those bingo prizes.
Yes.
Yeah, Sam and Jen, you guys were there for an overnight thing, right? Look at that. Oh,
yeah. They pulled the real graveyard shift from 1 to 4. So
yeah.
And here's how it looked. It was just so beautiful in there.
Look at that.
Transformed. Yes.
Yeah.
And it was just, it was really
you walk in and you forget where you are. There's decorations everywhere. It's like out of a movie. It's really, really incredible. And I do remember, I think I've told this story before. I remember hearing from Michelle one year as she was talking about it. They said that they knew that they had to knock this out of the park on the very first year. Otherwise, the kids would never come back. They'd be like, oh, that was lame. And it'd be over. And so from year one, it's just been this phenomenal, just a phenomenal party. And it's fun to volunteer too. It's really a fun thing to volunteer. My two favorite things I volunteer for in Melrose, Destination Imagination and Grad Night. It is so much fun. It's a joy to be there with the kids.
Yeah, I think everyone I talked to, I think my neighbor actually helped you guys with bingo, and she doesn't even have anywhere close to a high schooler. Her child's in elementary school. She was she seemed to be really enjoying herself, and she also was surprised just how much. Yeah, Courtney Pillsbury. Yeah. I couldn't believe like how into bingo the kids were.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
They have a teacher.
She was the enforcer.
Yeah.
We sent her. She had to check everybody's card to make sure they actually won.
Yeah, that's a good job for her. She was some background, so
they knew not to give it to me and Sam. We would have been like, you win.
So this is your first time doing it, correct? So was there anything that surprised you about the event? Like what surprised you the most? Expectations versus reality.
You can go, Karen.
Aside from the power going out and lightning and all that.
Well, actually, the thing that surprised me most was the collective commitment, not just from the volunteers, but from the city, from the administration, from National Grid, to prioritize making sure that the electricity was back on so that we can have this event. So, when Amy talks about it being a community effort, from the volunteers to everybody in the city who plays a role in making this happen. I mean, it's DPW, it's the public school district, it's Health and Human Services. There's practically, it's hard to find someone, police department, it's hard to find anyone who isn't a part of making this possible. And that night when the thunder struck and everybody was in the building wondering, okay, a little rain is fine. And then the lights flickered and we thought, oh, that doesn't look like the regular, that looks like an emergency light. Okay, that's okay. But people just took a deep breath and were like, we have to figure it out because these kids deserve it. So that resiliency and that commitment, that's what really surprised me.
Nice.
That's great.
It's not lost on the kids too, because I've also been at the shift where they're all leaving in the morning, and I've had people say like, I've heard kids say like, I can't believe the community does this for us. Like they're so grateful. They just love it. I get weepy every time I think.
Yeah. And this is not just you. I mean, you have been working on this for a very long time. This is almost an annual activity at this point.
Yeah.
So a lot of it is the funds are generated from fundraising activities that you have throughout the year. Can you are you able to share what your final budget was for this year and how much you raised?
So our budget was probably close to $40,000, and we would have raised, if not 40, a little bit over 40.
Yeah.
And we raised that through very traditional fundraising. So we send letters asking community members and businesses, will you support? We apply for grants. Senior parents, they send a lot of gifts in honor of their kids. We asked past donors to support. It was the 10-year anniversary of Grad Night. And so really anyone in the city who has an affinity, wants to support a grad, will ask you for money.
Nice.
Or who just, I mean, you just want to keep the kids safe. Who doesn't want to support that? It's great. And I think people do want to pay it forward too. Like, oh, my kids had that. I was so grateful that my kids had this experience. I want other kids to be able to have this as well.
And the kids love it. I had two kids who went through this. They're now in college. One graduated college, but they loved the night. They looked forward to it all year long. My son, his favorite part was with the baby animals, which is always a big hit. So it's nice to see the kids come home from that experience feeling like it was really more than they expected. As Jen said, that they're just shocked that people are willing to volunteer their time to do this for them. So it's kind of nice. Thank you.
Yeah. And there were real cash prizes all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a picture. This is Heather McDonald's oldest with his cash prize, and the theme he's got on. what is it called? A buff.
Yeah. The theme was Survivor on the island, right? Yeah. Which is, you had no idea it was going to be so appropriate.
It felt like someone really saw the future when they
and the detail and the decorations from even just the wrappings around the tables with the umbrellas over it.
Yeah.
All of the details really are really spectacular. The tribal tent and the quiet spots with all the Uno cards. It was really the details are really what makes this. And it's a very well-oiled machine, I think you said earlier. So did they hand you over kind of a playbook basically to get you guys rolling, or how did you know where did you start?
It's partly a playbook, and then partly there's still a lot of volunteers who have been in charge of certain elements of Grad Night for a long time, and they fortunately for Karen and I stuck around so that particularly the decor team that does all those pick the theme and did all the amazing decorations. We have Ann Carlson Moore and Susan Nurdin, who are kind of chair that group, and they're just amazing rock stars who I don't know how we would have handled this without them.
We don't talk about that.
Just because that kind of attention to detail is just so makes the whole night. And then I think Michelle posted, she still handles some of our social media because she's awesome at it. How the vendors that we've used for years are also kind of become family. So we have had for almost every year the same magician come. And so he kind of has he knows how the kids are going to be. He knows where he needs to go. So even stuff like that makes it easy on us because he's pretty much self-sufficient at this point. Yeah. So it is good.
It is really efficient. So when we went in there, the kids were somewhere else and tables were being wheeled around to set up for something else. It was at 1:00 in the morning.
Yeah.
So there's constant movement of
changes and
it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
When do you start planning?
The movement of the kids, because the casino guys need to take a break too. So there's this whole setup where all of the kids, every last one of them is moved into the auditorium for a magic show, while behind the scenes, the casino guys are getting a break and the volunteer shift changes happen. And then the kids come back out like nothing's ever happened. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
I know it's still amazing to me that Michelle and Nancy kind of figured this all out over time. So we're, it is pretty remarkable.
Yeah, it was cool. It's a lot of fun. I have a good time doing it. So thank you.
So Tom, I think you were asking when they start planning for next year.
Yeah, when you start planning, I was asking how long does it take to plan this event?
We started in pretty much October of this year, and that's a pretty
so half a year.
Yeah, and some stuff has to happen right away because we have to book things and make sure everything is set from a timing perspective. And then, but then it really has hit the ground running for maybe the last month where it's nonstop work.
And if folks want to get involved, is there some way, a Facebook page or something that what should they do to reach out to, we talked about they could donate money, but if people want to volunteer, maybe they have somebody who's going to be in a senior class that they know and they want to kind of get a little bit more involved.
Yeah, so we do have a Facebook page. It's just Melrose Grad Night that several of us monitor. So you can message us on that and we'll get back to you. They can also send an email to melrosegradnightinfo@gmail.com. You can also go on our website. But those are the two best way to contact us.
Nice.
And we welcome any involvement that anyone is willing to throw our way. We'll find a
time, treasure, and
Talent.
anything.
Talent.
Talent, yes.
Well, I kept my shirt.
So tired.
Yeah. Well, I kept my volunteer shirt.
Me too.
So I'll make sure I know where it is next year. Because I will definitely be back. Tom, so you in for a late night party?
I'm busy. I'm busy next year. All night. Yes.
It's really not now, right? I think Sam and Jen can say it's
my wife has done it a couple of times.
Yeah, my wife's done it as well. Yeah, I hear nothing but great things.
So actually, our bingo caller may not. He will have a graduating senior. He may not be able to call bingo.
Oh, well, then
we need somebody with a megaphone. Who's got a megaphone?
I think let's talk Melrose calling.
Wow, bingo. So we're looking at the new bingo team for next year.
G31. G31. Oh, 9.
I think he's volunteering right now.
09.
I don't know. I don't know how bingo works.
Oh, 71.
We're fired up.
9.
There's
It's
no
no
time for
bingo.
training. We'll get there.
So yeah. So if you need a new bingo team, you're looking at it right here. We bring the fun.
Apparently, Tom grew up in a bingo-less childhood.
12.
And 212.
We look forward to having you all at bingo next year.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. I think we should do it.
Awesome.
think-
Well, we'll
yeah,
get a
and
little more
I-
preparation on how to build. If it's an Elton John theme, we'll be ready with the preliminary costumes.
No problem there all night. There's a chance for the volunteers to take a quick nap though, right? There's a little napping pod,
Possibly.
Between
Yeah,
1
yeah.
and 5.
maybe some hot cider.
Oh man!
Yeah.
Well, the grilled
All right.
cheese truck.
Coffee.
Yeah,
When you're
coffee all night,
there,
grilled
it's
cheese.
like when you're there, it's like being in Vegas. There's like no windows and no clocks. You have no idea that it's 4 a.m. You're just like, there's
Crank up the AC, pump in oxygen.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
totally.
exactly.
Flashing lights, all the fun stuff.
Yeah.
A couple of the
Alright.
kids did take advantage of an empty bounce house to take a quick cat nap. So
Oh,
really?
man. That's good. That's where you'll find Tom and Tom.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. Thank
you.
you for doing this.
Yeah, thank you.
It was
Yeah.
wonderful for
Really
the
appreciate you
community.
coming
So
out.
thank you
Yeah.
for your time.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks for volunteering. Thanks for having us. And thank you to everybody who helped make this a success. I feel like Amy and I just had the privilege of not breaking what Nancy and Michelle built. So
pretty much. No, I mean, it really truly was like heartwarming to just see how many people dove in, and all the people who volunteered are like great volunteers. Like everybody did their part, and it was really, really great to watch it more than
Yeah.
do anything else.
Yeah. Well, good job. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Bravo.
And
We'll be,
And we
we'll
will
be signing off now with music, and so please stick around. We do a little dance off as we say goodbye.
see you around town.
See you around town.
Oh,